Hey SB fam, carnivores, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. I hope you all are having a meat-fueled Gouda week so far. Please do update me down below with any new updates, victories, observations you have made along your carnivore journeys. Today's video features the fabulous Coach Jane Thomas. She is a keto and carnivore coach as well as a Pilates instructor. We talk in depth about what you can start doing today to increase and improve bone health and bone density. Jane herself actually reversed osteopenia, and the tips and tricks that Jane shares will make sure that you guys see certain ingredients, sometimes even trash, in a completely different light. We also talk about fitness and fat loss on the carnivore diet, as well as why Jane feels like posture is so incredibly important in everyday life and health. I always try to invite on the guests that I interview on my channel as guest speakers in my 30-day carnivore challenges, so we will get to have one whole hour asking her questions, learning from her, and hearing all of her fitness, health, keto, carnivore advice on Zoom. So if you guys want to join my next 30-day challenge and meet Jane Thomas, as well as Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Stephanie Rimka, Dr. Sarah Zaldivar, and Michelle Hearn, all in 1 month, please feel free to sign up for my next carnivore challenge with the URL right here on the screen or by clicking the link down below in the description box. So without further ado, let me invite on my special guest, Coach Jane Thomas. Hi, Jane. How are you doing? Welcome.
Fine. Hi. Thanks, Bella.
My first question for you, I would just love to know how you became conscious of diet. How did the keto and carnivore diet come to play in your lifestyle?
I've always been quite good with food. I was brought up with quite elderly grandparents who ate everything that was grown in the garden. They didn't buy anything that was packed. They made everything. So I was brought up with that. I was brought up cooking. Things like bread and pizzas didn't suit. They made me bloated, didn't feel great. And I'm quite good at listening to my body. So if something didn't suit me, I wouldn't eat it. And then as soon as I heard about the keto diet and looked into that, it was like, well, this makes sense. This is what I've partly been doing on and off. I have a bit of carnivore half the week and the rest of the time I'm keto. It does depend on appetite. If I have a big cooked breakfast, carnivore breakfast, literally, I could not eat. I wouldn't want to eat again until maybe 7, 8 o'clock at night, by which point I don't want to eat meat. It's too heavy then, too late. I love lamb. I love the fat and lamb. I love it nice and crispy and I can eat it, but I get full very quickly. So with the classes, with the clients, with the pole that I do, I need the energy from the food. But doing carnivore, I couldn't eat enough. I would need to be eating lots of small meals all the way through the day. Don't have time for that. Don't have time to cook it. Don't have time to eat it. And also, I'm really not hungry. Whereas if I eat 2 meals that are keto, because there's more variety, I can kind of eat more. I know it sounds, it's odd, isn't it? I can eat avocado with the cooked breakfast and mushrooms. I very rarely have any carbs.
That's so interesting. So the 2 key takeaways from Jane just now: how busy is your lifestyle? On carnivore, you kind of need to make sure that you're eating enough. Otherwise, you don't really get the full benefits and you don't really get over that adaptation hump. And then the other thing she said is, she's really active. How active are you? And I feel like those 2 things were so important for my boyfriend. He is extremely active. He goes to the gym every single day. His goal is to build muscle. And on top of that, he's really busy. What matters is what is the most sustainable way of eating, what suits your lifestyle, your schedule, and of course, your activity levels. So I'm so glad that you opened up with those points. So you mentioned you eat some avocado here and there. What is a typical day of eating on keto for you?
If we have breakfast, then it will be a cooked breakfast, eggs, at least 3 eggs, bacon, and that would be, I would cook that pretty much every day. And then Stephen would just have that. I would then add half an avocado fried in butter, mushrooms fried in butter. And then that would be my meal in the morning, depending on clients. So sometimes it's early we eat and sometimes we don't eat till 10, 11 o'clock. And then I tend to only then have another meal later in the day. Today's a weird day because I work very early and then I work very late. So I tend to just have one meal middle of the day on a Tuesday. And then the evening meal can be anything from steak to lamb steaks to chicken. I will tend to have chicken cooked in butter with a little tiny bit of garlic because I like my garlic. And then I tend to add bacon to that, few mushrooms, loads of double cream, usually put a butter on top of that, grate cheese on it, and that would be my evening meal.
Do you do any macro tracking? Do you track your
No,
calories?
oh, I don't have the time to do that.
I love it.
Oh, I have never counted a calorie in my life. You eat until you're full and you eat what your body needs. If your body craves cheese, it's probably because it needs it. You know, if you're hungry, then you're not eating enough or not enough of the right things. If I do buy anything when I'm out, if it's got more than 3 ingredients, I won't touch it. Nothing with vegetable oil. Everything has to be cooked. Lard, butter, use a lot of double cream, get through loads of eggs. I grow herbs, so I chuck a few fresh herbs in if I want something slightly different. I mean, I cook for the family when they come round. There's no potatoes ever in the house. So they will have a bit of celeriac mash, cauliflower mash, but all the time it's got butter in it, it's got cheese in it. You know, I mean, I need to buy shares in butter company because I get through an awful lot of butter.
I love butter myself, and I love raw kefir. Lately, I've been eating so much raw butter and raw kefir because I just came back home to my family in Los Angeles. And here in California, it's not illegal to get raw dairy. But back to what you said in the beginning, you said that you do keto because you're not big. So why do you think carnivore diet is more suitable for those who have a lot of weight to lose?
They've got a lot of stored food. I haven't. My visceral fat is really low. I think it's last time I measured it, my visceral fat was something like 4%. I can get you my figures. I mean, I'm 53. And the last time I weighed myself, my scales said my metabolic age was 38.
Wow, amazing.
Somebody who carries more weight, if they don't eat enough in a day, they've got some stored food. I'm not saying fat because it's not necessarily fat, it's stored food. They've got energy there that they can use. I haven't. And everybody's different. There will be people that are the same size as me that can do on carnivore. And I'm very much of the belief that you've got to listen to your own body and you've got to do what works for you. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. Don't weigh yourself. Go with how you feel and how you look at how happy you are with yourself.
You almost do a keto diet, but with the carnivore mindset, I almost feel like. And you kind of are basically carnivore, just with some really neutral plant foods like avocados, mushrooms, some herbs here and there, some garlic to spice things up. So I think, this type of approach is so suitable for those who just cannot stand 100% only meat. It's too much. You're active as well, and you just want a little bit more variety. So let's dive into your menopause. Share with me a little bit about what you were struggling with, what started bringing up like, oh, this is a big concern.
They really should warn you about the menopause because, strictly speaking, I was active, I was healthy, I was on a good diet. I thought I was just going to sail through it. I really didn't. It didn't help that it coincided with us moving house. So stress and the menopause is terrible. But also, I had never realized the impact it has mentally. I've driven all over the country on my own. I was really independent. I had this horrific anxiety. Couldn't drive anywhere. I used to have panic attacks getting in the car, just driving like 5 miles to the nearest town. It was bizarre. I actually thought I was losing it. I would do stupid things. I would drop things, like I'd drop something in the kitchen and spill things, and I'd be in tears. I was exhausted all the time. So I do what I normally do, is step back, looked at what I needed to do. So I tried to de-stress as much as I could, because when you look into it, as soon as your ovaries stop working, your adrenals take on a lot of the work. So your adrenals is where your stress hormone comes from. If you're already stressed and then you get the menopause, or you get stressed during the menopause, it's a double hit for the adrenal glands. So I looked at supporting the adrenal glands. Then I was getting the hot flushes. So I would get ready in the morning, put my makeup on, walk downstairs, and I would have a hot flush. And literally my makeup would just fall off my face because I looked like a beetroot. You talk to people and everybody has different symptoms and different things work for different people. Vitamin B complex for me helped with the hot flushes, but I only ever take things for 2 or 3 months and then stop. I never continually want to be taking something. So I take it for a while. If it works, I carry on taking it. If it doesn't work, I stop. If it carries on working, I then also take a break. to see if that's actually solved the issue, because I don't want to end up taking 5, 6 things for different things.
One of the few things that I do recommend my new carnivores start off supplementing with is electrolytes. So right here I have a very high quality brand called Element. Their electrolytes are extremely high quality. They have so many different flavors, but best of all, they have an unflavored, unsweetened version called their raw unflavored electrolyte mix. These are what the packs look like. Very nice, small, and travel friendly. This right here is the raw unflavored version. So if you guys are looking for something that is free of any stevia and only the electrolytes, please look for the blue colored packaging and box labeled raw unflavored. So as you can see in this one, there is 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Pour these in your beverage of choice, iced water, coffee, whatever it is, mix it up, drink it, and you are good to go. You guys can all get yourself a free sample pack just like this one with all of their flavors, including the raw unflavored one, completely free with the URL on the screen. I have also linked the free sample pack link in the description box. You guys just have to pay for the shipping fee, but it is definitely worth trying out their samples before committing to a full-size box.
I started probably when I was 49. This is year 4, and I reckon, touch wood, I am pretty much out of it now. The other thing I didn't realize is before you hit the menopause and you have your cycle, you still get that when you're menopausal. You just don't have the bleed. So your hormones and your moods still cycle. And I've put in me time. I do things just for me. I book a massage once a month. I tried everything from doing the cold showers, which do help, doing all the meditations. I tried loads of meditations. Doesn't work for me. Can't meditate. Sit still and empty your mind.
Yeah.
No. A, I don't sit still very well. And B, empty my mind. Just so, but I found for me doing something like a craft. So macrame making, where I've got to focus on something, doing my pole fit. All these things for me is a form of meditation, and it's me time, and it's looking after me, going for walks outside, making sure I got out. You really think you're going mad. I mean, I didn't think I would ever get back sane again. It's frightening, actually. But I think when you start talking to people and you realize that it's not just you. I did go to the GP once and asked what they could do.
Okay.
And they said HRT. I said, I don't want to do HRT. Is there anything naturally I can do? No, HRT. I don't want HRT. What else should I do? Exercise. I said, well, I'm a Pilates instructor. I do a lot of exercise. Right. Oh, no, HRT. She wrote a prescription, gave it me, sent me out the door with it. The prescription went in the bin and I haven't taken it.
And for those who are watching who have no idea what HRT is, could you explain what it is?
Hormone replacement therapy. So it's basically replacing the hormones that your body is no longer producing. Right. Don't see the point. Your body naturally is meant to go through the menopause.
I would love to know how big of a part nutrition played into this. Did the nutrition aspect help with the menopause symptoms at all?
Yes, it did. My skin started to go, almost losing the collagen. And also I started to heal slower because I heal really quickly. So I did a few weeks where I was purely carnivore. I increased my fats. I looked at increasing my collagen. So for probably a good 9 or 12 months, I was eating the collagen from the egg. You know, the thin membrane.
Yep.
I would break the eggs every morning, and I would then peel all the collagen off and mix that in with my scrambled egg. And I would have that to increase my collagen to try and make my hair better, make my skin better. I'm pretty happy with where it's at the moment. If I get a time when the skin's not great, I will go back to that. In the winter time, I tend to eat more fat. My body seems to be very good now at telling me what it wants. I'm into the chicken and the bacon or the lamb, loving the lamb at the moment. And eating all the crispy fat with it.
So I definitely have a lot of female viewers probably watching right now when I post this video. And I often get DMs or questions or inquiries about collagen on the carnivore diet. But since you mentioned a collagen tip to get it, naturally without supplement, I would love it if you could just maybe speak a little bit more on how you get that egg membrane out, why that is collagen, like why is that so beneficial, and why you don't opt for supplements.
I don't like supplements because they generally always add other things to them. So if I can get what my body needs from food, I will. I eat lots of eggs anyway. So I was basically throwing the collagen away with the eggshell.
Right.
So all our eggs are fresh. We get them from the local farms locally to us. And when you crack the egg open, if you crack the egg open and drop the egg out, you've got like a white membrane on the inside. And if it's nicely fresh, you can peel that membrane out. And then I just used to mix it in with a scrambled egg. Or if I was having fried eggs, it would just go on the top of that. I don't cook it. It just gets chucked in on the plate straight from the eggshell straight in. I mean, you can just eat it, but I mean, I tend to just chuck it on the food.
We're throwing this amazing source of collagen that is so good for our skin, hair, nails away. Just peel off that membrane. Let's move on to the osteopenia that you've reversed. I feel like it would help so many people who are struggling with bone issues, weak bones. Feel free to just speak about your experience.
10, 11 years ago, I was getting hip pain. Don't like going to the doctors, so put it off and put it off. And then my hip used to lock. So I went and I had a GP at the time who was very good. He sent me for a DEXA scan, which is just where they put you through the machine and they get pictures of what it is. And he said, yes, I've got the start of osteopenia, mainly in one hip, but starting a bit in the other one as well. He gave me some tablets. He did actually give me some calcium tablets. They'd given us calcium carbonate, which is what comes from rocks. So they went in the bin. Within 3 weeks of me coming off those, the joint pain went in my fingers. I also increased my meat intake, my fats. I did start taking vitamin D regularly because vitamin D helps the body absorb calcium from food. So without vitamin D, your body can't absorb the calcium out of the food that we eat. And here in the UK, we don't get an awful lot of sun. That is the only thing actually that I take religiously. Vitamin D, and have done ever since. I increased my impact exercises for the hips, so a bit more jumping. I then did pole, which is a bit more impact when you come down from the pole and things like that. It's now all gone.
When you get it checked, when you get the scans, it doesn't show as you having osteopenia anymore?
No.
Wow, that's
all clear.
Congrats. So you said you ate more meats, more fats, which obviously helped a lot. But then you said the vitamin D helps to increase the ability for the body to digest calcium. So were you still taking calcium supplements, or were you just getting the calcium from the food you were eating?
No, I was just taking the calcium from the food then. I don't want to take a tablet just to fix things, but vitamin D, I make sure the vitamin D tablet we take has got nothing extra in it. One thing you do need to check when you take tablets is quite often they add a carbonate or something that's just a bulking agent, and you want to avoid those as much as possible.
Okay.
So you need a pure vitamin D, and we take the highest dose we can get, especially in winter over here. And then I still take it during the summer, but I take a lower dose during the summer.
I absolutely love your simple approach. Just ask the questions, get the information you need, and just move on. So you talked about impact exercise. And a big question that I get a lot is, what about exercise for those who are 40 and up, 40, 50 and up? Would you recommend any like special protocol or recommended workouts for that age category?
It depends what you've done. If you've been somebody that's always done exercise, then carry on doing what you always do. If you've never done anything and want to start something, it depends then on your level of fitness. I always say, find something that you enjoy. There is no point doing something because you think it's good for you if you hate it, because you won't do it. As a PT, people say to me, oh, I'm going to have to run, aren't I? I'm like, no. Do you like running? I mean, some people like to run because it's a stress relief, which I get. I don't run. I have no intention of running. It's not particularly great for the joints. I like Pilates. I like pole, my pole fitness that I do. Other people like yoga. Other people like dancing. If you like golf, that's fitness. Find something that you enjoy and actually just do it regularly. You know, if you're sociable, then go to a class, but a proper class where you've got an instructor that will correct you, not a class where you've got 30 people and there's somebody at the front that you can vaguely see telling you what to do. It has to be what you enjoy. And if you really don't like exercise at all, then walk. Get out there and walk. But do it regularly and do it with a bit of gusto. You know, actually put some effort into it. Start from where you're at. So if you've not done anything and you're 40, 50, but have never exercised, don't get up and expect to be able to do 3-4 classes a week or walk 5 miles, because you won't do it. Build up gradually. As your fitness increases, then you will be able to do more.
So you're a Pilates instructor, and you mentioned you do pole fit. What kind of made you gravitate towards these two movements and exercises?
Pilates I've done for years. I've done that ever since I was 18, 19. I hurt my back in a job I was doing, was in a lot of discomfort for a long time, really struggled. And then somebody suggested Pilates, and I'm like, okay. Did that on and off really most of my life. I've done some form of Pilates. And then it wasn't until I got into my 40s that I actually trained to be an instructor to teach it. Pole fit. Not something I ever thought I would do, but my youngest daughter started going to a class, and she lived for another part of the country. So to have something in common with her and to be able to talk to her about it, I thought, well, I'll go and do a few classes around here, maybe 5 or 6, see what it's like. And then when she tells me about it, I'll know what she's on about. Anyway, I got hooked. So I started it when I was 49 and absolutely love it. It's great. For a whole hour, I get somebody else telling me what to do, which is great. Can't think about anything else, because if you think about something else, you're going to fall off.
Wow.
It's a challenge. I'm out of my comfort zone, doing things I would never think I would be able to do. Everybody thinks once you get to a certain age, I'm never going to be able to do that. But have a go, and it's good fun. Like I say, you find something you enjoy and you do it.
So last question that I would love to wrap up with, I can't help but notice your amazing posture. And I feel like for me, posture is something that I always notice, because as a pianist, posture plays a huge role in how the energy flows out of your fingers to make the music that you make for your audience. And I grew up doing some ballet classes here and there, so I was very aware of posture. I would love to hear your thoughts on why posture is so important and what you advise for good posture.
Posture is huge.
Yeah.
First thing we look at when we take on a new client, whether it's a one-to-one client or whether it's somebody that comes to class, posture is everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. When you start everything, your body should be aligned. If your body's in alignment, it works better. So as soon as your posture is out, you're putting pressure or strain on another part of the body as it tries to compensate. So as soon as your head's forward, the weight of your head increases. So if you put your head forward, your head gets 20 pounds heavier for every inch it is forwards.
Wow.
If your head's here, the amount of pressure you're putting on your neck just by having the head forward. So your head should always be above your spine. Your spine should be straight. Your shoulders should be back. I see people walking around like this.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, your digestion is shortened, your lungs are shortened. By doing that, simple, just standing up straight, you give your digestion room, you give your lungs room, and you can take in more air, you feel better, you look better, you look more confident.
Yeah.
From a psychological point of view, just standing up like this, I mean, if you get out of bed in the morning, you're having a rough day, if things hurt, or you're just not in a particularly good place, and you're kind of like this in front of the mirror, whatever you're doing, if you actually lift yourself up, roll the shoulders back and put your head back, just by doing that and smiling at yourself in the mirror, it lifts you, it makes you feel better. And and I know people have things where things hurt, but if they can put things back in alignment, whether it's shoulders, hips, So people stand like this with one hip to one side. It's terrible for the back. It's terrible for the knees. And I mean, my big thing, they laugh at me in class because my thing is foot exercises. Your posture starts at your feet.
Oh.
Feet should be barefoot most of the time if you can, because the body needs the feedback from the feet as to what the ground's like, what your balance is. People shove their feet into these very narrow shoes that have got supports that alter the body in a way the body's not supposed to be. People say, oh, well, I wear a foot support because I've not got very good arches.
Yep.
Throw the foot support away and do exercises to strengthen your arch. Your arch of your foot is literally the spring in your step. So people say you've got a spring in your step. So when you actually put the foot down, the arch of the foot takes the impact. So it actually takes the impact away. So if you're walking like that, you're impacting on the ankle, on the knee, and on the hip. Whereas if you actually walk properly and the spring supports you, the impact goes through the foot and dissipates. So it doesn't come all the way up the body. So it's just by altering the feet, making them more flexible, and improving that, you then improve the posture all the way up. I mean, the foot exercises can be done sat in a chair. You know, you don't have to be standing. You can start by doing all the feet things first. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's posture, and not just when you're standing, the posture when you're sitting as well. So if you're sitting at a desk all day, you need to make sure you're sat upright with the shoulders back, a nice arch in the back, head and neck all should always be in neutral, and then adjust your screen and your keypad to your posture.
Yes.
Don't adjust your posture to your keypad.
Yeah, right.
It's, I mean, a trick that I get people to do is to put a Pilates ball, a little one, or a little football behind your shoulder blades next to your chair. Because then as soon as you move, the ball falls.
Right.
And you have to put it back to sit back up again. And it becomes a habit after a while. For you playing the piano, you will know how to sit. Yes. And it will be instinctive.
Yep.
So the same for other things. So you need to learn how to stand.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to correct myself with the hips because when I had my children, I spent most of the time with them on my hip, walk around with them on your hip. And when the children got older, I would then carry things and rest it on my hip because that was what I did. And so for a while, a lot of time in Pilates I was spending correcting my pelvis because it was always tipped. And then I was wondering why I was getting lower back pain, shoulder pain. It's keeping everything. If the spine is in alignment, then it will work better. As soon as it goes out of alignment, something else compensates. You get aches and pains. It's just a case of correcting yourself and being aware of it.
This is definitely the first time posture has been so discussed in depth, you know, especially with a guest. If you guys are more intrigued about what Coach Jane has to offer when it comes to posture and aligning the body, feel free to comment down below if you have more requests or questions for her. I did want to share that Coach Jane is going to be a guest in the May challenge. So we get to spend one whole hour just learning from her, asking her all of our questions and having her with us live on Zoom. Coach Jane, thank you so much for your time and your knowledge. For those who want to work with you or who want more of you, where can they find you?
I have a website that they can message me on, or just message you and you can pass it on. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the very end. Gouda here wants to wish you all a beautiful rest of your day. Gouda, what you looking at? What you looking at, Gouda? Yes, he wishes you all a Gouda day, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video with Coach Jane Thomas. Feel free to share it with your friends, with your family. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, turn on the bell and notifications to not miss my future videos. And finally, just wanted to remind you all that Jane is going to be a guest speaker in the May Carnivore 30-Day Challenge. So if you guys want to meet her, continue to learn from her, ask her all of your personal questions, we're going to be able to have a whole hour with her on Zoom. Feel free to just click the link down below in the description box to read more and sign up, or type the URL on the screen, sbgmeetup.com. You want to say something, SB fam? Okay, one little grunt is all he's gonna give you guys. All right, love you guys. I'll see you in the very next video. SBG out.